are. Z Nation, back to it. DailyXander 365 podcast time with a good friend of mine. Wait for it. I got an intro for you.
Oh, you did?
This is one of the first times. So, this is the top environmental engineer consultant in all of Florida. The biggest smile in all of 407.
Okay.
Who is known to travel to New York. And she's the queen of H2O readily available. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Barika Poole.
Yes.
I just want to say thank you so much for willing to connect and join me and make this happen. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
It's awesome.
No problem.
You're able to do it. Like, that's cool. I was like, yeah.
Glad to be here.
So, Barika, how's your Friday been going so far?
My Friday's been good. Today is kind of a day for me to do what I want to do, to kind of, do errands and just collect my thoughts as well. So,
do you normally, so what's your work schedule like? Are you kind of like, I don't know, what do you explain? I do a variety.
You're supposed to ask questions.
No, we're
right?
supposed to ask to each other. Like, I just want to be a normal conversation.
Okay, so I do a variety of different things. So my day usually looks at Monday, I work out with a trainer.
Oh,
not you, but
how much more time it makes sense not to work out with me. What do you work out on? Sorry, stop you there.
I work out. I told you before, but I work out at the Arbors with my trainer Patrick and Chaparral Dallas of Top Bodies Fitness. Yeah.
Where's that at? You said Arbors.
The Arbors is in Maitland. It's an apartment community in Maitland.
Okay.
Right off of Maitland Boulevard, by the Chick-fil-A and the Wendy's.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yes, by the Chick-fil-A and Wendy's, because in Maitland, you said, right? Because I used to stay. Kind of sidetrack now. I used to stay for about 4 months when I first got to Orlando, like the extended stay.
The extended stay. That's
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Okay, you just that means you just oriented myself to where you're talking about.
Yeah.
So you work out on Mondays.
I work out Mondays and Wednesdays morning with him, and then I go to my office at Children of the Nations, which is actually in Summit Church downtown Herndon.
Okay.
So that's the nonprofit that I work with, and I'm their manager of water sanitation and hygiene.
Gotcha.
So, and then Tuesdays I go to a consulting company in Winter Springs, and I do environmental consulting for them.
Is that the BI? Isn't that like you do consulting for like your consulting company's called?
My consulting company is called BRP
I did a little
Consulting.
LinkedIn research.
That's fine. That's fine. BRP Consulting is just my initials. So that's my own consulting company.
BIP.
BRP.
BRP.
My middle name is Renee. It was simple. I was just like BRP Consulting. So, but on Tuesdays and half day Thursdays, I work at this other consulting company in Winter Springs, helping them out a little bit. So they were looking for a senior project manager, and I was like, I have some time, so I work there 12 hours a week.
So just from like literally you just said it or mentioned as far as different things you're involved with right now. Like, I feel like that's what you kind of enjoy doing. You kind of enjoy like having different focuses.
I do.
So not like one main thing.
I do. I like to have flexibility and kind of switch it up my schedule. So I like to do my own thing in terms of. So on Fridays, I generally if there's a project that needs to be dedicate more time with, I'll do that, or I'll do stuff for my own consulting business and just do errands and cook and whatever else I need to do around the house. So life,
like all of us.
Yes.
So. Yeah, I remember it was like the past weekend when we had like our team meeting, where me and you were just like briefly talking about like non-profit or like charitable stuff.
Right.
And you were mentioning, because it's still in my head, about like the Haiti example.
Right.
And the overabundance of like rice provided for Haiti. Was this referring to like after the earthquake, right?
This was happening after the earthquake, but it also so I was watching a movie called Poverty Inc. And in the 80s, and Bill Clinton, he's been on Congress and he has apologized for his part in this. Yeah. Because so the humanitarian aid crisis, in disasters, it's necessary, but then it tends to be prolonged, and when it's no longer an emergency, but you still Haiti still has rice coming in, free rice coming in, and it's not a disaster right now. So when the U.S. so what happened was in the 80s, we got Haiti to
classic, like from an economical graph standpoint, you'd be like supply and demand.
Exactly. And so, I mean, basically, we didn't want to have competition from other countries on goods so that we would have to import them.
Yeah.
So, we lobby our government to block those countries from importing stuff to us that we overproduce and want to export to them.
Right.
So essentially, in Haiti, we gave out free rice, and it decimated the rice farms in Haiti. And so, and that just happens with a lot of countries. The international aid,
Right. So it's like that kind of common thread, or kind of common pattern where you have like this emergency, you get all this aid, and then kind of when it's not an emergency status anymore, you still get aid and stuff.
But it keeps coming. It keeps coming. I mean, even in that movie, when they talk about in Kenya, there were Kenyan cotton farms, cotton plantations, but now because we send clothes and shoes and all of that kind of stuff there, you can't find, made in Kenya cotton. And even and I also want to do a social good company and become a social entrepreneur, but you also have to think about what you're providing. So even Tom's shoes, everybody knows Tom's shoes, right? So he saw these shoes in South America that are in the style of that everybody was wearing. He's like, oh, cool. So you buy a pair of shoes, and he gives a pair of shoes to kids in developing countries. Well, what happens to that? Tom's shoe truck shows up, and there's all these free shoes. So what happens to the local cobbler, the local shoemaker? Out of business. So, and now he's realized that, so he's trying to do other things, create factories in these countries to employ workers and things like that to utilize local materials. But
provide like that sense of like empowerment, that sense like some type of like training, maybe, in a sense, or just like provide those resources, like you're saying, and then they can.
Exactly. So when we say here that small business is the fabric of our country, right? Everybody talks about small business. Well, what are we doing to those small businesses abroad? But we're decimated now. We have all this international aid come in, and so it's something that we want to do. We want to say you see a need that you want to help and you want to fulfill, right, and provide. But then you have to realize what on the backside are we doing to that local economy. So
just kind of always have that in the back of your head. That's what I really, because I imagine this has been going on for a long time. Not like just that one example, but just probably how collaborations go. There's an emergency, it's aid that is readily available and such.
Right.
Just being able to manage it, that's probably the biggest thing. Because a lot of like you go off the general public is focused on when that emergency is happening, like it's a catastrophe.
Right.
But then the news cycles, people forget about it. But there's still aid going into it, and that's when all the problems and such.
Exactly.
I know. So you're involved with the water. Have you ever heard of? He's a professional mixed martial art fighter. His name is Justin Wren.
Okay.
And he goes to Africa and he gets himself involved with like a pygmy tribe. And what he does, he gets immersed in the culture. He's been doing it for years now, and he helps drill wells. And he does a thing where he helps teach the locals actually how to drill for well water instead of like just bringing in outside material and then just doing it for them. Yeah. So he said he provides like that sense of empowerment. And I think he's also helping teach them how to make soap and such. They can grow like a soap economy behind it.
Yeah.
And I know he mentioned kind of like the similar thing that you're talking about. Like there's a lot of aid that comes in, but it's aid that doesn't, again, go back to like that empowerment or provide sparking up an economy there. Rather, it just comes in, infiltrates certain industries in their economy, and then next thing you know, they don't have anything, and then they're just relying on outside sources. And
exactly. It doesn't empower the people. And that's that's a problem that has been happening for decades, and then people try to reinvent the aid situation and how they approach humanitarian aid, but there are hundreds of thousands of broken wells in Africa or across the globe because people have come in, drilled a well, took their picture and left.
Yeah, because it sounds kind of mixed.
Right, but they haven't trained the local people on how to repair it. There's no system set up for spare parts, to collect money for spare parts or anything. And so, and they don't follow up. But then there's also those organizations that say, we're going to be in this community for 20 years. Well, if you've been in a community working for 20 years, that's a problem. Like you haven't empowered the people to not need you anymore. So sustainability has been the big thing in these last, decade or so, that to make something sustainable so that it continues on and on and on once you leave.
Oh, yeah.
And so the goal is to go in, help, train, teach, and leave. Not to stay.
And not to stay, yeah.
Not to stay.
That says a lot about like whoever's involved on like the aid or the teaching. Like if they're still there 20 years afterwards, like it's all on them.
It's like, what have you done? What have you like?
What have you done? Like,
are they self-sufficient? No. Like,
not at all. What got you into like at least with the water? Like I get like water is it's essential for life.
yes.
That's funny. Like because that's something I was probably like 5 or 6 years ago. I remember just like in the back of my head, like if I want to help out people, I really want to just move water, just because like
Yeah.
water's like such a commodity, such a need. Like there's places all over the world that don't have fresh water.
Exactly.
And going back to like I'm originally from Alaska, and I know one time they were talking about shipping. I forget what lake it was. It's this massive lake in Alaska, like the water down to like California, for example. Or even building like a water pipeline. Okay. All the water it's just so insane much. Well, yeah, what
What got me into water?
Water.
Let's see. I don't know. I think that when I look back on my, when I was in high school, I ended up doing a water science fair project of what was better, well water, bottled water, or city tap water. And I was like, oh.
How'd you go about doing that? Did you do like the pH level? Or?
Yeah, I tested all kinds of things, and I actually worked at the local water treatment plant to do my testing, and so I collected different samples. I had like 17 different bottled waters, and I can't say that it was highly scientific because I only took one bottle of each, one sample of each.
Yeah.
But
That's still a good sample size of 17 bottled water.
yeah, different waters, because bottled water is not really regulated. So I mean, a lot of people think like
when you said too. Like
yeah.
It's 70. Yeah.
And so, I really found that there wasn't much of a difference. I mean, there was one bottled water that had a lot of bacteria on the plate, which is very interesting. I didn't really find out why that was until I went to college and I was in my environmental justice class. And so I studied environmental engineering at MIT. And I actually got into that major because I was looking for something else, and my advisor said, well, what do you like? And I was like, I like water. I don't know, I just like water. Like the beach, I'm a Cancer, so I'm a water sign, so maybe it's just in me.
Okay.
But he was saying, my environmental justice professor said, when you go to visit this certain spring in New Hampshire, I think in New Hampshire, Maine, first you drive by the town dump,
Okay.
which is right next door. And so if you know anything about, landfills or things like that, things leach into the ground, and if it's not lined, you have, what I would say, spread of contamination. And I was like, that's why that there's all that bacteria over that, so that was Poland Springs, by the way.
Hope nobody's out in Poland Springs.
I know, right?
Is that kind of what happened like in Michigan like a year or two ago? Remember like there was a water in Flint, Michigan.
Flint? Well,
I don't know the story behind it. I just know they had water. Was that like similar to that?
no. Well, what happened was that, and I only know a little bit about it, but basically, the emergency manager of Flint, Michigan, who is not an environmental engineer or anything like that, has to do, they made the decision to switch the source of water. They were waiting on a connection from Detroit, a water source connection from Detroit. But in the meantime, for budgetary reasons, it was cheaper, they decided to switch their potable water source to the Flint River. Well, that's not a clean water source. And you can't just make these decisions when you're going from one water source to another. So what happened was that, and in all old cities, the pipes you have, they're corrosive. They're old pipes. They're made out of cast iron. They're made out of sometimes may have maybe asbestos, like pipes, things like that. So when you switch water sources, there was a reaction that happened, and so all of that stuff on the inside of the pipes leached into the water as well.
Yeah, so just added to the potency. Like first off, like you said, the river, it's not clean.
No,
But going through the pipes just seeped off.